Hey there, welcome to the Traveling Homesteader and Gyroscope Farm. I'm Kathy, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about tools, and tools in three areas. Now, when people think of the word tools, I bet you most people think of like a hammer and nails or a saw or things that you have to fix things. And that's one of our three areas. So, when we have tools, at least I think of three areas: for cleaning, making, and fixing. And so when we think of these three areas, we kind of need certain things. So part of the reason why I think of cleaning as having certain tools, we have different ways of taking care of how we clean things. Some people want to have things very sterilized, and so there's going to be a certain set of tools for that. Other people want to go a little more natural, so there's going to be a different set of tools for that. But for all intents and purposes, you're going to need something like paper towels or rags, and then some sort of cleaning agent. And that's going to be, in some cases, something along the lines of a bleach-based item, or maybe something that's vinegar-based, depending on which avenue of thought you prefer. And then, when we think of making things, we need certain things for like making dinner, or, as I was thinking about making, that we can kind of provide an income for ourselves, we might make soaps or cutting boards or make something to kind of earn us some money or provide us like food. So you kind of either way. And then the last area of kind of fixing things, generally speaking, we all have to fix something. We may have to fix our computer or our car or maybe the roof on our house. And so we need certain tools for those things. So today we're going to go over some different tools that I have that may be of some help to you. So let's kind of check out to see what we have. So when we think of tools for making things, there's a whole host of things that you might use for making. So when I think of making for me, I think of my sewing machine, my serger, my loom here, to be able to make things to use as gifts, to use for sale, if I've gone to some farmers markets, or a variety of different things where I'm going to try to sell my product. I want to have these tools so that I can sell them. And so sometimes we get to consider what tools are important to us for making. Now, if you're not interested in weaving, you're probably not going to get a loom. But maybe you are interested in fixing your car, and so you have certain tools related to that may be helpful for you to fix your car, which makes it go. Or maybe it's part of making, maybe you make cars and you remodel cars. I don't say make cars is probably the wrong word, but maybe I know some gentlemen who are into restoring cars. And so in that way, you need certain tools for restoration to help that go a little smoother. But there are certain skills that we need to acquire when we're becoming self-reliant to make things. And in this case, I learned the skills to use a loom to weave things, which then has led me to realize that there are other tools I need for weaving. So some other tools related to this are a warping board, a bobbin spinner, and there's even other tools related to that. But so when you want to think about making something, what tools do you need for it? What tools do you have already? And so that's something else that you could think about as well. And in my case, some other tools that I have are my serger and sewing machine. And so those have been really helpful to me. And I actually don't find that I don't want to be without them, because I can just go to them really quickly and use them, and because they're so available to me. Now, with that in mind, something else that you might want to think about making is some cleaning supplies, or some things that you can use either in your own home or give to other people. In this case, I made this tub scrub, and it was at a little bit of a class I went to with a friend who is selling essential oils. And depending on what you want to make and depending on what you want to clean with, making your own cleaning supplies can be an option, and it can be reasonably priced. So with that lead in, let's see what we can make or use for cleaning supplies. Some tools that you might need for cleaning or for making sure things are somewhat clean and neat around your home are some basic cleaning supplies. Now, depending on what avenue you want to go, will depend on kind of what sort of cleaning supplies you have. Now, in my case, I happen to have a spot that had mold in it from a leak in my roof. And I wanted to make sure that that mold didn't grow and get more, because at least where I live, black mold can be a really big problem in the home. So one way that I was able to kind of take care of that is be able to make my own bleach solution that killed that item. So this basically consisted of just this little spray bottle. You can get them at the dollar store. Has bleach, water, and some pine sol. That's it. And you can actually use this very same cleaner for cleaning countertops, refrigerators, that sort of thing. If you want to go the more natural route instead of bleach, which some people do, you can exchange the bleach or you can exchange vinegar for the bleach. And it has similar cleaning properties, and it's more natural. Now, I'll admit it, I like to go more with the more natural cleaning, like with vinegar and, baking soda and water and all that, because I happen to have dogs and cats that are around, and I don't want them getting into chemicals. Although I do have some chemicals around, like bleach, so that I know that there are certain things that I can clean. Now, I do have some other tools, I call them, and there's this being one of the more natural routes that we just talked about. But I do have some other tools that are for cleaning more high. Now, this is the Microban 24-hour, similar to Lysol. So these are some products that we might have as tools to use for cleaning. Again, it just depends on what your preference is for tools you want to use in your own home. Now, you can have sponges, you can have towels, both cloth towels and paper towels. Another avenue that I've taken is there are certain companies that you can go with, and now this is no endorsement, but I happen to go with a company called Norwex that I actually really liked, but I ended up selling their product for a time, and it ends up being you can use the product, their cloths, and water, and that's it for cleaning. And you have basically you can get your cleaning surface or your surfaces 99% bacteria free, and it's because of the way the product is made. Because I worked with them, I still have some of the products that I still really enjoy, and this happens to be one of the cloths they have. And this is the Enviro cloth, and I really liked it. And essentially all I had to do is have water, use this, and I wipe things down. And because of the way this is made, it ends up being able to clean surfaces a lot better. And without going into too much more detail, part of the other reason why I like this is because when I used this product in my home, I knew my animals were safe. And I found that my home actually smelled better, and there are products that they have for, the home, for your laundry and all sorts of things. And so I just found my home smelled cleaner. It even though there wasn't like the smell of bleach, which I know there's a woman I work with who would really rather know by smell that her home is clean. So that's why she prefers having cleaning products with a smell like of bleach or Lysol or that sort of thing, because that helps her trigger her mind to know that it's all clean. But I found that even when I was using Norwex, there was a clean smell in my home that I didn't notice otherwise, which was kind of nice. But along with that, there are different ways you can have, like this is their soap. You can have cleaning supplies like soap, whether it's through Norwex or like Dawn dish detergent. Dawn dish detergent, little plug for them. This can clean so many different things, and it's really rather reasonable. Again, these are all tools for you to use, and there are different options that you can have. For my tools in my house for cleaning, it comes down to simple, cloths or rags and sponges are my basic tools, and a little gumption, a little energy from the hand to get things done. So that's kind of my setup of cleaning supplies. So the dogs wanted to help me out in this bit. Piper, Jeansa, and way over there is Yarsan. So my dogs wanted to help out with the fixing kind of things to have around. Now, I happen to be at my car, and I am here because the one thing that I carry around in my car is this handy dandy little bag here. Probably like, that's an odd bag to have in your car, but it is a little compressor. And I find that I use this an awful lot. I had initially gotten it because I just wanted to make sure that I had a means of pumping up tires wherever I went. If I had gotten a flat tire, I can kind of plug it right into my car, right into the old school lighter with this item. There's a nice electric cord that can plug into it, turn it on, and with the hose I can pump up any tire I want. And come to find out, I have been able to use it on my Jeep with a particular tire I have. It kind of goes low regularly. But with my lawnmower, my wrought iron lawnmower, I find that every second or even third time I mow the lawn, I have to blow up a tire, which just takes a little bit with this, and it's way nice. So having things for your car to fix, if you need to fix things yourself, is really rather helpful. In this case, I use it on a somewhat regular basis. Now, some other tools for fixing that you probably know about, having screwdrivers around is really rather helpful, both in the flat head and, let me see, Phillips head. Kind of the two basic ones that you should probably have are those two right there, because that'll cover almost all the screws you'll encounter. Now, there are some specialty screws that are come in decking or other things that you can probably have screwdrivers for too, but again, that's a specialty item that you may need to get specific. But if you need to go a little higher tech than that, you have the opportunity to get a little screw gun. I love my little screw gun, and by Ryobi, it's nice and lightweight, and I can tootle it around wherever I need to, and I can then take my battery out, charge it at home when I need to, and then reuse it again. So again, these are some nice little tools that I have for fixing things, and I have found them way helpful around the house, and the farm, and my car, and all sorts of things. Now, I have some other things here that are some in my toolbox that are for other things I do. Now, these particular tools I call my fixing tools or toolbox tools, because I've used them on things like when I was trying to basically work on an RV. I was trying to remodel an RV, so I had this nice tool that was going to help me cut different parts out that I couldn't get otherwise. So this particular tool, to be honest, I don't know the name, so if you do, put it down in the comments below. It was helping me cut things, but I can also do tile with it. If I wanted to do tile work, I could, in this case, I could do wood. Depending on what blade you have on it, you can kind of switch it out. So, and this I got at a place called Harbor Freight, and I don't think I got it for much more than $20. I usually have a smaller budget for my tools. If you have a tool collection already and need certain specific tools that are more, go for it. But for me and my budget, I just want to have some basic things. And along with that, I have a sander that I can sand things with, and I have a Dremel tool, but I also have like a hammer. I have just some basic things that I can tootle around with. But another tool that I have that I use in my garden, in fact, I'll be here using it shortly. This is a handy dandy little sickle that I use for harvesting lavender. So now that we've gotten talking a little bit more about the tools that we have, we can also use references. Some references that you might want to consider having as a tool could be things like books. Like I happen to be interested in making soap. I have a the Ball Blue book for making, when I make things like jams and jellies or canning items. This happens to be the older blue book. There is a newer edition with more up-to-date versions, but this is nice because it has some older recipes that aren't around in the new book. And again, it just having a variety of items at your disposal is really nice. And that's why having things in print can be very helpful, or a physical item is very helpful. So another tool that I have as a reference guide for making things So I happen to have a binder of Instructables that help me make different things. Now this is Instructables.com that I'll put down below. Offers up these different types of instructions on how to make a whole host of different things. Now in this case, origami firework, and it shows by pictures how to make this item. And this happens to be origami, but they go step by step in like what paper to use, how to fold it, all that good stuff. So that's kind of one interesting item that I picked out. Another thing, man cave coffee coaster, basically made out of nuts and bolts. Those are kind of interesting too. Relatively simple. Again, they give you what it is and then the instructions on how to make them, which is really kind of neat. So you can find a whole host of different things. Cobra weave key fob. In this case, DIY alcohol ink ornaments, which were kind of nice. DIY solar-powered phone charger, under $5. So as you can see, just based on what I have here, there's a variety of things that you can get and learn how to do. Speckled dyed yarn using fiber reactive dyes. So going to Instructables.com, I have found has been really helpful. And I just print them up and have them in a binder. And I actually have gotten to having about several hundred of these and I have them both on my computer, but also in here in case something happens where I don't have access to the instructions on my computer, I can always take it out here. And that's why having books around for making things or, doing things is really rather nice. I have several books on, like in this case, soap making, paper making, glass work. But also I have some cookbooks, or in this case, a ball blue book. This happens to be an older one that I got it in the yard sale. I think it was actually for about 10 cents. That has different recipes in it than the newer one does. And so I happen to like a recipe for blackberry cordial that has no alcohol in it or isn't fermented so it doesn't become alcohol. And it's in this book, but it's not in the new book. So that's the sort of thing that if you like to do something or make something that has a couple of different editions, maybe an older edition like this one could have something that you're interested in that you can still make now, but maybe the newer edition has maybe more safety issues or kind of more up-to-date items that are important too. So those are some things that you might want to consider having around too, are books and different instructions on things to make or clean or, have around for you to have access to. As you can see, there are a nice variety of tools that we can choose from to help us become more self-reliant. Everything from cleaning to food making to cars and making pottery and glass. We have the opportunity to become more self-reliant based on the tools we have. So please come check us out at gyroscopefarm.com, and if you haven't already, click the subscribe button down below to continue seeing more what the traveling homesteader has to offer. And come back again soon. Thanks.